Welcome back, boys and girls. I got a new pattern here for you. Another pattern in our extended body series that we're trying to convert patterns over to urine nymphing style patterns. What we have here today is the Turtleneck Caddis, and it's a pretty simple tie. I'm trying to make it a little bit better with different materials, but the main material and the thing that we're focusing on today are these extended bodies. All this is, what we have on the back is just some sili legs, and there's a little technique that you can use to create this type of an effect. And originally, I think the first time I saw it, Devin Olson, one of the Team USA guys, Phipps had changed the rules that you were not allowed to use like silly worm material, okay? And I mean, even the national guys fish with worms that they tie up, but since Phipps changed that rule, they were not allowed to use that traditional style. So he was trying to come up with another way to represent the worm and use materials that were still considered legal. And what they ended up doing was just using these sili legs and creating an effect that you can kind of twist them up and they stay that way. So what we have here as far as ingredients, this is a different style hook that I'm trying to go smaller and add the extended body. So we have here this fire hole. This is size 18, number 520, which is kind of like their curved jig hook. The bead I have on there is a Mun 3mm bead. This one's like a mottled gray, and the quills that we have on there, this is just a natural color. Trying to go a little bit more gray with some brown, and the sili legs that we have here are just a barred type representation. Has a little bit of gold in it, a little bit of brown, a little bit of clear, and there's lots of options we can try with this. You can try straight black. I've made a few of them using things that way. The biggest issue is the diameter. The one that I'm using here is what they call mini, which is, I think, as small as they get. And then you just go up from there. So if you're tying a Paragon style bug, obviously you can't have the tail bigger than the main body. It has to have that type of symmetry. So trying to find something that we can put together, this is kind of what I came up with. So the collar that we have here is also sili legs. So I was trying to match some things up and provide a little bit of contrast in between. So let's go ahead and get into this. The thread we're using, just Semperfli Anasilk Black. Tried a couple different colors, but nothing really seemed to fit together correctly for me, at least to my eye. Okay, I'll get this hook and a vise here. This is a real easy tie, and you can apply this type of technique to just about any pattern. What we're when you get into bigger bugs, you can just use bigger material. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So I like this hook just because I can go smaller, size 18 here, and this is about as small as I can tie and still see what the hell I'm doing. But the jig hook allows me to put a bigger bead on this, so That's kind of why I like that. It still gives me that, you know, that curved look. It's got a big hook gap. I take this back to about the point, okay? And then we're gonna put, you know, the extended body on. Essentially, when you get those, they come in, you know, a whole big split pack of them. Just pull one off. We want to anchor this right at the base of that thread wrap, okay? Because we're going to tie this in and try to twist it so that we can get that little bit of an upward angle. Make sure all this is covered up. Get off that extra. Taper this up just to cover up all these little rubber pieces that are sticking their way out before we anchor this. This is 12-aught nano silk. Okay, so here's your sili leg. What we want to do, I normally go about an inch up for something this size, okay? Because you're gonna need distance to go back and distance to go away from the hook, then distance to come back to the hook, okay? See how that is there? So about an inch or so. All I'm doing is twisting that up as much as I can, like one twist. I'm gonna grab the center of that and pull it backwards, and it creates this little type of helical effect, okay? If you mess it up, just do it again. It's a pretty simple thing. If you want your tails to be longer, give yourself, you know, a little bit more string. Grab the center of that section, pull it back, keep it twisted, just drop it, and usually, I mean, you can see, you know, how big you can make these things. So this is with, you know, very small diameter sili leg, so that's kind of the delicate nature of it, you know, to pick and choose what you want your bodies to look like. Then I just pinch that in the back when I'm gonna cinch this down. Okay. Make a wrap over it just to secure it, and then I'll try to manipulate it. So try to get it on top of the hook. Just roll it over. And then really put some tension and secure that down. Okay. I'll go ahead and stretch this a little bit before you cut it. And we're going to save this. Okay, we're going to use that for the collar. Now what we're going to do is go back and try to get this quill on board here. You can pull this out, twist it around. It's not going to go anywhere. The quills we're using are a natural color. Like I said, I was trying to go with something a little brown, a little gray. So just pick your quill out. Some little hairs on it still. We're going to tie that in right at the base of that tail. Secure that down. And now we're just going to build our taper up here a little bit. I'll make sure this body is completely black. I don't want any gaps of color or anything like that in there. I just broke off my quill. I'll just build this up a little bit. Just want to create that little bit of a taper towards the head. A little bit of that thing showing through on the body there. Just trying to cover those up. Okay. Gotta tie that off. Alright. Okay. We're going to wrap our quill and I want these touching wraps. This is a very small bug, so trying to do this as delicately as I can. Making sure that my spacing is right. I want good segmentation on there. And we'll take that up to kind of where the collar is going to start. I'm going to tie this off. Okay, pop that off. I am going to put a whip finish in that. And hang that again. Now we're going to put some solderers on here. Before you do that, try to make sure you have this angle right on the tail that you want. Okay? Because sometimes, you know, you get some of this UV on there, it might hold it in the wrong direction. Okay, that's our main body. Let's cook that. What I like about this method is just how, you know, loose and flimsy that tail can be. The water will definitely make it move. That's the nice thing about it. You know, you get a little bit of motion that way. And you can see that that black, you know, just kind of protects a little bit on, you know, covering up your mistakes if your wraps aren't perfect. So, a size 18 bug, does it matter? I don't know. Okay, so next part, get the rest of your little silly string here. I'm going to secure this on the top of the hook. Just so that we can kind of trap that in there. I don't want to put a lot of downward pressure on that because I've cut it before with this nano silk. Okay, a little whip to finish in there. I'm going to cut off this extra. Okay. Now, when we're wrapping this, there's two different sides to this. One has the barring, okay? One is just the back side of that that's kind of goldish. So I want that barring to be on the outside. And all I'm gonna be doing is using my rotary vise this right up against the collar, but I don't want to really stretch it out. Twist in there. So I want that loose to a degree, so that we can, I don't know, show a little bit of texture in there, so everything can kind of get mixed up. All I'm doing is trying to run that stuff over the top of the bead, on the edge of the bead, and it's going to be a little bit bulky. Getting too much of a stretch in there. I don't want it to thin out. Just excuse my hands for a second here. Guess we're just going to do the whole thing over. So all I'm doing is like laying this and touching wraps, going up to the bead, trying not to put much tension on it, because I want it to look bigger. I want it to look like a turtleneck, something that's going to be consistent right up against that collar. We are going to cover this with UV, and all I'm doing is just trying to like overlap those little wraps. And I build it up almost to the height of the bead. Okay. Again, you don't want to push too hard. You just want to trap this, because it will cut. Okay. And the lip finish underneath that. Just push it down the edge of that bead and slide it underneath that collar so that you can't see the wraps. Cut that. When you pull on this, stretch it out a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to get our UV again. A little hair in there. Real light on this. You don't want to build it up. I just want to secure it and protect it. And the idea is to kind of make it a little inconsistent. Because the clear look of that, those silly legs can kind of bring out a little bit of striation, similar to what you're getting with the quills on the back. The idea with the turtleneck end of things, I just kind of want this a little blocky. I don't really want it tapered in. This one kind of squirted back a little bit. But that's all just aesthetics. The trick is just using that little twist technique to create that body. It's not going to add any weight. It's going to move in the water, and that's kind of what we're looking at here, guys. Turtleneck caddis. A couple different things you can do. Obviously, you know, change your colors on this. The one that I'm working on is just using the sili legs for the entire body. That's what this one looks like. And you can see if you lay it on there right, you know, a little bit of segmentation, not as defined as this one here. And it's kind of grays it out a little bit because it is transparent. But this one's going to work too, so this one's just a little bit darker. Alright, apply that to anything that you want. That's the beauty of it. Obviously I'm tying a lot of Paragon style and just trying to go a little bit smaller here for winter and give them something a little extra to look at. So, okay guys, here's another example. All I did with this one might be a little bit easier to do overall. Just change the underbody color. Instead of using black, I use yellow. And used that sili string as the ribbing. You know, just instead of cutting it off, I just left it back on there, or left it on there, and you know, wrapped it up with the ribbing, and then tied it down, and then made the collar. So yeah, a little different, but it's that easy of a change. Nothing else is different on this bug. This one just doesn't have that quill type body. Get them in the water and start catching some fish here. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in a week or so.